quick queries about the common method biasness. Some people asked about what should be reported while reporting the formative construct, reflective construct, or CCA. Well, that part Sandeep has already covered. So let me show you once again. In the reflective construct, we have to estimate loading and the significance. And let's do by one. What we will do of the loading? The meaning of the loading is it will be useful for calculating of the AVE, CR, discriminant validity, etc. This will be required. And everything should be significant also. The meaning of the significant is P value should be less than 0.05. Indicator reliability and the construct reliability. So one indicator reliability we compute with the help of Cronbach alpha, and construct reliability there is a term CR. The basic difference between the two, in the indicator reliability only and only the statements are taken. Why? With the construct reliability we take the error terms also. But before that you need to understand what is meant by maximum likelihood estimation. We will come to that. Error term is something. AVE, average variance explained, that is again from the beta value. That loading is also called as the beta. From there we will calculate AVE. Likewise the discriminant validity, nomological validity. Now so many questions are there on the nomological validity, what to report. Let me explain it once again. Nomological validity means when, like, you have the three constructs, okay, A, B, C. Now look for what are the other indicators with which A is found to be related. Positive or negative, it doesn't matter. Take 1, 2 in your study, measure it, and try to see whether their relation with the A is same as expected, as given in the previous literature or not. Likewise with the B, likewise with the C, only R means coefficient of correlation will be reported, nothing else. For nomological validity, nothing else need to be reported other than the correlation which is expected in the other review, what they says. So certainly nomological validity talks about those variables which are not the part of your model. My model says A lead to B, B lead to C, A lead to C, 3 are there. So certainly look for other variables. A is related with, B is related with, C is related with, you measure it and then do. Now here comes a question that it means for measuring the 3, will I measure 9 or 10 variables? Well, see, I understand you probably are talking about from the perspective of your PhD or writing a paper or doing something, but people expect you to look for the contribution to the humanity. When you are looking from contribution point of view, what are you contributing to the humanity, to the collective knowledge pool of the planet? Then it means if you're taking 9, there is no harm in taking the 9 things, but report about the 3. You need to be ensured. See, all these things, the reliability, validity, these are not the part of the objective. Objective is to ascertain the relation of this and this. And these are the parts which we expect that first there must be correct. The things must be correct. Only then we will go ahead. It means, for example, I want to check my weight. And I ask you, please give me your weighing machine. Now I assume when you are giving your weighing machine, the machine is correct. There are no faults or no problems in the machine. If there are problems, you must tell me the problems of the machine. Otherwise, I assume it to be the correct. Similar thing is here. You are a social scientist. When you are saying something, it means that you ensure the people that it is reliable, it is valid, everything is good, so that you can go ahead with the structural part and tell these are the relation, these are not. So these are sort of mandatory parts which are required, reliability and the validity. These are the part of the reflective measurement. When it is the formative measurement, it means in the formative measurement, there is nothing called the construct validity. Why not? Reason being, there is no construct. Remember, each statement is taken only once. Each statement is measured only once. So there is no concept of construct here. So there is no construct validity. So content validity, yeah, it should be there, but there is no numerical formula for the content validity. So there is a convergent validity. There is another way of getting convergent validity, that is called a redundancy analysis. We'll talk about that also. Since formative are the different things, so look once again, we have not written anywhere as the multicollinearity, but reflective measurement is all about the multicollinearity. Multicollinearity is actually a good thing here. Multicollinearity means there is a very high correlation between the statements, and that will actually produce alpha, that will produce AVE, that will produce CR. Everything will be there. So multicollinearity is a welcome step here. But here in the formative, multicollinearity will be a problem. So you must check multicollinearity. In the last week also, I took a workshop on RStudio. Some of you were there, others were not there. There I told one golden rule that there are the two things in entire statistics we always look for. Please see, any story is not about hero or heroine, never ever. The story is always about the villain. If villain is not there, then nothing will left out in that story. So it's all about the villain. Look for the villain. So in the world of statistics, in this magical world of statistics, there are two bigger things. You can call them as villain, but they say, well, we have our own perspective. So one of them is outlier, and the second is multicollinearity. These are the two problem area. I won't call them as villain, but these are certainly the problem issues. They create a lot of problems. Outlier, second is multicollinearity. Now, this multicollinearity, high multicollinearity will send out some of the statements. Some of the, remember here, one statement is representing one statement. So if multicollinearity is there, they may be kicked out. Next, we look for the size and the signification. Size means it look from the beta perspective, from -1 to 1, beta ranges between this, and significance means whether the p-value is less than 0.05 or not. Then comes the contribution of the indicator. Now, contribution of indicator may be taken in terms of R square, or even otherwise how much they are contributing. Effect size is another one. And then there is a predictive validity. We'll talk about it. There are some formula. Now, why predictive validity you cannot see in the AMOS? Because AMOS can handle only and only about the reflective measurement. So there is no such thing. So when the people of the AMOS, they talks about content validity, but there is no formula for that. Construct validity, convergent and the discriminant validity, and that's it. They rarely speak about the nomological or predictive valence. That's it. Smart PLS talks about the both of them, and there is a concept of predictive validity. So there is a complete method. We'll try to cover that method. Coming with the CCA, confirmatory composite analysis. Now, what is a composite? Composite, the basic difference between composite and others are, here we have finite, certainty, only this much combinations are there. Think of composite as sort of the weighted mean. So there are 4 or 5 items, every item has a mean, and then you go ahead with that. So here we basically here all sort of the reflective and the formative. It means composite need to be handled in two ways. What are the two ways? Measurement model and the structural model. Please remember this. I assume you know basics about this because this is a high level workshop, EFA, CFA. You know something about it. Generally, when we coin the term SAM, structural equation modeling, it is made up of two things: confirmatory factor analysis plus regression. Confirmatory factor analysis plus regression becomes the same. Now, confirmatory factor analysis, CFA. CFA got other name, it is called measurement model, while regression, the name is called structural model. So there are the two things you may find in the books, that SAM is made up of two, measurement model and the structural model. Common sense is that when you are measuring something, for example, I say age has an effect on height. I measure everybody's age, I measure everybody's height, and then I find the relation. But the same when I say that motivation has an effect on perceived performance. Now, neither I can measure motivation in kilogram, meter, centimeter, nor I can measure the perceived performance. So there, both are them opinion. So it's imperative for me to first understand whether they are reliable and valid. Validity and the reliability is mandatory part. This part is named, several names are there. Some people call it as the measurement model. Some people call it as confirmatory factor analysis. Applying the structural part is called the regression. So regression, path analysis, or structural model is one and the same thing. CFA or measurement model is one and the same thing, and reliability validity concept. These are one. The other three, structural part, path analysis, regression, this is one. So there are, because of the nomenclature, people get confused. So here we refer indicator weight, multicollinearity, size, all are the same. The only one thing in addition is we have the model fit also. The model fit, which was missing in the Smart PLS, is available here. And rest of the examples are given by this. There was one more question. See, I don't want to do it, but I will request strongly not to write anything in the chat. the next person who will write anything in the chat, anything, I will remove the person from this session. Is that fine? So any next person who writes anything will be out from the session. Don't write anything in the chat. So I ask this question basically. See, these are the certain questions I am asking. So I can see Ziaur Rahman is talking to somebody near him, but let me ask this question. Like Ziaur Rahman, if I'll ask you which institute or university you are affiliated to, and I ask you 5 times or 10 times in a day, I hope your answer will be same. Okay, it's exactly the same answer you will give that particular college or university. But if I'll measure the height of a particular person, is it same throughout the day? Exactly same up to decimal places or no? No. If you measure the weight, height may be of the same, but weight is never same. In the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, maybe in the night time. Why it is not the same? So certainly you will say one, it depends on whether it's before the breakfast or after the heavy breakfast. What you are wearing? Are you wearing a 3-piece suit and something, or you are wearing just the informals in your bedroom? So it means we are not getting exactly same answer. So here we say, then why the things are different? The things are different, reason being, measurement is equal to actual measurement plus random variation. So random variation means there are always some sort of, things are different. Weights will not be exactly same. So this is some of the time we ask an interesting thing to the people, particularly to the school kids. We ask that my weight is 60 kg and I drink 1 liter of water, which is something like 900 grams. So if I'll drink 1 liter of water, will my weight still be 60 kg, more than 60 kg or 60.9? Weight of the water was 0.9. So you will find it's never 60 plus 9, or let's say 1 kg water, 1 kg if I'll of weight, this much water I drink, my weight will never be 61. It will be more than 60, but not 61. So where is that weight gap? So that's called the sort of the random variation. Now coming to the next part, this is a purely other variable, how happy you are. Now this will depend on n number of things. It will depend on actual, how happy you are, but random variation, because if I'll measure the same thing in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, etc., it won't be same. And then it again works on what is your mood, what is the timing, what are the other things. So these 3 things are there. Please remember, whenever I measure anything, there is actual measurement, which is correct thing. Then there are the random variation. Random means actual measurement taken again and again will not be same. See, in the physics, this is always same. So when you remember the Boyle's law, Charles' law, etc., you have studied, PV is equal to nRT, you do 1000 times, you will get exactly same result. But how happy you are, not the same, all the 5 times, 10 times. So one is actual measurement, one is random variation, and third is the transient, some other variation. So look, these are the 3 important concepts which are pivotal in the statistics. These 3 are actual response, which is called validity, random variable, this concept is called reliability, and method variation is called the method bias. Anything else other than that. So our purpose is to look only and only this. But this is also there. Reliability means when you measure same thing again and again, how much is the similar thing coming? So we are not saying this is the truth. We are saying whatever we are able to measure. So do you remember when the next time you say my reliability is 0.9, you yourself are admitting that there are certain weakness in the measurement. You are not able to capture exactly 100%. Reliable means when you looked for whether the person is giving same, person is saying 0.7, 0.8 reliability. Can you see the other aspect? Where is 0.3? Why it is not same? Because we are human beings, it may not be same. Now here comes the importance of the words. Words play a very, very important role here. Not all the words have the same. Do you know in any of the language, actually there is nothing called synonym and the antonym. It's okay, we teach you synonym and antonym, but in real life, there is nothing called the synonym and the antonyms. It's basically everything is context based. Every single word comes with a context, which word to use where in every language. There is no synonym, antonym exactly. But we human beings, we deal with that. So this is a complete subject, how to look out with this. First, we look for the methods, how they affect, how to take away with them. So please don't ask any more questions on common method biasness. The reason being, I may not be able to answer that. Common method biasness. Common method biasness is a complete thing. Please remember, I want to measure only the truth, but I'm not getting only the truth. I'm getting so much contamination with it. That contamination is called as the part of reliability also and part of the common method biasness also. You can think of the various examples for your own, but this is one. A simple method is don't ask us anything in the one go. Ask in the maybe 2-3 ways. That is good, or different people for the different questions can be asked to different people. This is really wonderful. This is called multi-level modeling, MLM. So we'll talk about that also. So we discussed the two of the things. The rest of your questions I will take in the evening. Now I have to go ahead with the EFA, CFA, etc. I know there are so many questions, and when Farahat is there, then the questions reaches to a next level. So Farahat, I am not taking your questions. We will talk it in evening, because I doubt not many people will understand your questions at the now. So where should I start with? I should start with the reflective and the formative, the same thing. You remember, I asked you 5 things. So what should be there in a workshop? Content, resource person, food, stay arrangement, infrastructure. I asked 4 statements each. Now when I start with, please tell me what is your point of view. Are all related, or whether some of them will be related? Okay, so some of them will be related. Or let me give you another example, a very common example. See, if you have attended any of my workshop, I always make it a rule, people from the same institute will not sit together. It's a mandatory part in my workshop. People from the same institute will not sit together. Compulsorily, they are asked, please sit with the different persons. Why not? See, if I get 40 people in my workshop, ideally, I assume these are the 40 people. Okay. So, but look them at the lunch table. At the lunch table, if all are separate, nobody knew anyone, so they will be sitting on the 40 tables. Okay. Everybody is a single factor. But it never happens. What happens? Something is there inside the people. They pull together. They come together. Most of the time, it's the same institute, or maybe the same language, maybe the same state, maybe the same country. Something is there. The people come together because of certain. Now, looking from it, it's interesting. It's not that in the workshop you every day sit with a new person. Some people do it, but not most of you. Most of you, particularly those, they come from a particular college or university, they always sit together in the workshop, in the lunchtime, they come together, they go together. It means if you look at the lunch table, there are not the 40 tables, rather there are hardly 5 or 6 tables. I'm interested from that perspective. Why 5 tables? So what brings all the people, those who are sitting in the one table, why they are on one table? That's okay. The other chair was not available. I came. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking why it happens. You go to certain people, you talk to certain people. You don't go every single person in the workshop. You don't do that. Or any other program. See it anywhere. When there is a social gathering in the marriage, are you really going to every single person and talking to them? Not like you go, there is a particular friend circle, you go there. It's okay. You just go and say hi, hello, and then come back. Where you spend most of the time in the marriages, where you spend most of the time in the picnic. It's not like every single person. It means why you are affiliated to certain groups. So now let me come back to the example given by Sandeep. He has given a wonderful example of kitchen. Now kitchen example says, if you simply say, if I'll just refer you that these are certain things. So let me share my screen. And I hope it's visible to you. Okay, I will request you to make those who are chatting on the phone or talking to a friend nearby, please, you should first close your video. So certain memes are talking on the phone or enjoying there. You must switch off your, you should know how to put off your camera, because you on camera, you are doing this thing. Okay, look further. These are the kitchen items. Sandeep says it's a cup, glass, jug, microwave, refrigerator, and so many items are there. If I'll ask you that, please arrange them into certain meaningful groups. So certainly you are not going to cup and the chimney or the sandwich maker in the same. cup is different, chimney is different, and sandwich maker is different, and certainly tomato is quite different. How will do? So I will say the same. In my kitchen, there are several items, but these items can be classified as utensil. Now what is happening? The moment I said utensil, I coined something else. There is something else. Cup, glass, and jug, they are cup also, cup and glass also, and now they are called as the utensils also. Likewise, apple, orange, and the banana are the apple, orange also, and they are fruits also. Likewise, refrigerator, microwave are refrigerator as well as electricals. Now just come back to the human life and try to see how strange people we are. Father is going to market. So he said, is there anything I should bring? And mother said, yeah, bring some fruits. And he brought some apples. Nobody in the home objected that we said you should bring fruits. Why you brought apple? Because apple is also a fruit. If he would, he could have brought banana also, mango also, because all are the fruits. And it was said, please bring fruits. It means just look for, there must be somebody who coined the term. Now we learned it from childhood. That's okay. We learned it from parents. But who was the first person who said that apple is a fruit and banana is also a fruit? So I don't know whether you find it interesting or not. It's so amazing to make this segmentation. And at times I tell you, you are wrong also, because tomato, most of the people consider it as vegetable. By definition, it's a fruit. By definition, it's a fruit. It's not a vegetable. Though we say, bring some vegetable, tomato is a vegetable. So it means there are certain ways, there is something, what we look for? We look for, is there anything common in them? Is there any correlation? So we look for the high correlation and we put it together. For example, in the kitchen item, we are saying electric equipment. That's fantastic. Fridge is electric equipment. Toaster is there, oven is there, electric chimney is there, all are electric equipment. Fantastic. What about the fruits? Apple, banana, guava, pineapple, all are the fruits. Fantastic. What about the utensils? Cup, plate, glass, etc. all are the utensils. That's fantastic. Like Sandeep said, what is electric kettle? It's electric also, it is kettle also. It falls in the both of the place. That will be a cross loading, which will create a problem here. So point here is, it's not like we have invented this factor analysis. Factor analysis was known to people from centuries. In every culture, they applied factor analysis. I call it in India as caste system. So what is a caste system? Caste system means we say these all people belong to one caste, they have these characteristics, and then these are the others. In the others, this caste, then this caste, this caste, this caste. Okay, likewise, in every single culture, there is one way or other differentiation factor. We say it's as simple as us versus they. There is us. Us means there is a common thing. Maybe you are born in that, maybe you subscribe to those faith or opinion. One is us and rest are they. And they are also segmented in several things. So please look, one thing I want to say here, the example given by this fruit, etc., that's fantastic. But little wrong. Little wrong means, so it may be, Sandeep, it's a wonderful thing to see. See, whenever we give this example, Sandeep, what happens? People start thinking that apple is a fruit, banana is a fruit, this is a fruit, correct? But this is not the way EFA works with. So for that, let me say we will play a game. Hypothetical. Certainly, I'm not asking to raise from your chair or bed. So we'll play a hypothetical game. Our hypothetical game is, now as of now, I can see 347, including me. 346 participants are there. Okay. And you are here perhaps for 90 minutes or 180 minutes, 1-2 session. Let's assume it's a 6-month job. You are here, it's a offline residential workshop, and you are here for 6 months. Okay. Now the very first thing, Suman will run away. He ran away in the lunchtime also, but he will run away now also. He will say, for the 6 months, I will be doing all sorts of stuff. He will say, no, let me go out. So we will make a rule. And this is precisely the rule people make in the orientation program or the refresher program. The first thing they make, these are funny rules. Nobody will laugh, just listen, and then it will explain it beautifully. So we will make the 2-3 rules. The first rule, as many people are there, as many committees we will make. Okay. So the entire arrangement will be done by the committees. And the first rule is, as many people, as many committee. So 40 people, 40 committee, 60 people, 60 committee, 200 people, 200 committee, 346 people, 346 committee, right? The second rule, every person will be in every committee. Okay, now this seems a very funny. How this? Yeah, this is a rule that every person will be in every committee. So let me take a simple rule of 20 people workshop. So if 20 people are there, so what we'll do? Now there is no choice. Everybody has to be in every committee. So we made first finance committee. All 20 people are there. Second is the food committee. All. Third is the resource person invitation committee. Fourth is, what will happen? Soon the committees will over. So what they do in the refresher programs, if you have ever attended, so they make very funny committees. Thought of the day committee. So they will write a thought of the day every single day. And then all this stuff will be there. Purchasing committee, this committee, pen drive committee that will take material in the pen drive and give to people. Then all committees are over. Then we'll say, okay, one will be parrot committee. Those who will give feed to the parrots. One will be doggy committee. One will be this committee, this committee. So the first rule is as many people, as many committees. Okay. And every person in every committee. Now what will happen? We say, well, there is a meeting of finance committee. Obviously, everybody will come. But we will soon, what will happen? You will find there are few people who are taking lead in every committee. Yes or no? Right? So out of these 300 people, definitely there will be 1 or 2 people, they live only for the doggies. They say my heart beats only for the doggies, and doggy committee, I will be the chairperson. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Other 345 people will say, you do everything and just get our sign and you be happy. Likewise, one will be parrot committee chairman, one will be this committee, that committee. Some of the committees, some people will be more active than other. Please remember the rules once again. As many people, as many committee, every person in every committee. But few people will be more interested in the works as others. Let's give them some names. People are happy with the designation. So there will be a chairman, there will be 2 or 3 co-chairman or chairperson, secretary, 3 secretary, 4 secretary will make a complete portfolio. So roughly what will happen, like if something goes with a doggy committee, so 1 or 2 people will be overall, they will take every decision, others will say, yeah, go ahead with it. Okay. Now somebody say, the vice chancellor says, I want to meet people, some people. So what will happen? Technically we can say, sir, you can call any one committee because all the people will come there. Okay, but we say no, it's a VC. It's not the 300 people are going. So how will manage? So what we'll do, we will take certain committee. We will take certain committee. We will not take all committee. We will take certain committee. I know in every committee, every person is there. Don't worry. I will take certain committee. Okay. Just look for, if you know something about India, in parliamentary system, there are more than 40 sort of ministry. Isn't it? But if I'll ask you what are the most important ministry, so there is something called Council of Ministers, COM. Only 2-3 are there. So do you know who's the next after Prime Minister in India? You are on mute, you can't tell. It's Home Minister. It's always, as per our legislation, Home Minister is always next to the Prime Minister. Okay. After the Home Minister, because all internal is with the Home Minister, and then there is a for external, that is a Foreign Minister, and in between the two there is a Defense Minister. So these 3 becomes Home Minister, then Defense Minister, then External, and then Finance Minister also. Everybody needs finances. And then for the training of your manpower, you can say HRD also. Now it's a Shiksha Mantralaya. So it means 5 are the most important. Though there are the 35 others, we are not saying they're not there. 5 are the more important. It means the first criteria comes, if we continue with this, 343 committees are there. And if the Vice Chancellor says, I want to meet certain committees, some people, ideally we can say you can just go ahead with the one committee. All 343 will be in that. But first we will say, let's take out the 5 or the 6 committees, maybe 10 committee. How will do that? There is one rule for that. That rule is called eigenvalue. So eigenvalue is something which will tell you whether a committee is really important or less important. Okay. What is the eigenvalue? We will talk later. But remember, there is something. There is somebody who will tell you are important or not. That's called eigenvalue. Now, coming to the second part, one committee consists of all the members. Then how it's going to solve the problem of data reduction? So next we will say not all the people will go, only post holders will go. Now can you see, in one committee, if at the maximum 5 are there and 4 committees I have shortlisted, so can you see only 20 people are going out of 343? Have you seen how I reduced the data? First I said from all the committees, few committees, 4 committees I have taken. Okay, many are left out, but there is still a doubt. But in the first committee, all 343 members are there. In the second, again 343 are there. So I said only post holders. The moment I said only post holders, there is a tremendous data reduction. Now it's not everything, only few of the thing. That is factor analysis. Now I want you to, what you do, remove the individual participant with a statement. Change participant to the statement. I have 343 statements. So what factor analysis will do? The first rule, it will make 343 factors. Have you ever noted this? Anyone? Sandeep has shown one table and said this is the most important table. This is the heart. How many factors were written? 9 were written. So it means what the software will do, if there are 20 statements, 20 factors will be there. 40 statement, 40 factor will be there. 100 statement, 100 factor will be there. Okay. The second thing, you say, please remember this line very, very clearly. Every statement will go in every factor. I don't know how people are saying it. First 4 makes the first factor, next 4 make the, no. Every statement go to the every factor. That's why I said the example of the kitchen creates some confusion, because that's a very, very clean example. Apple, banana, guava, grapes, these are fruits, but glass is not in the fruits. But actually, glass will also be in the fruit. These are the representative. Glass will say, well, I am not really interested in the fruit. Okay. Kettle will say, I'm not really a utensil, neither I am the spices, but it's okay if you say I will be here with my zero correlation. It means every statement go to every correlation. Listen it very, very carefully. The people who want to distinguish between EFA and the CFA. CFA is exactly the precise examples Sandeep has given. There is one construct, there are 5 statements, that's it. But EFA, every statement will go into every factor. For those who have heard about factor analysis, let me just tell you, there is something called the factor loading. Factor loading. Then you say in the factor loading, don't show the items less than 0.4. You opt not to see. It's not that R is not there, it's there. So basically how EFA starts with. Now here we should talk about from here. Because now we are touching something else. Now we will go in the parallel tracks, just like the railway line, 2 tracks are there. On the one track will go OLS, MLE and PLS. On the other track will go EFA, CFA and PLS. Okay, these 2 tracks are there. So it's something like one is here, but looking here, 2 wheels of a car, 2 on one side, 2 on one side. So very first thing comes with the first thing, who has given the factor analysis? Not the people of statistics. It was not the Carl Pearson or the Fisher or the Gossett. None of these. These were in the UK. So one of their contemporary was in US. His name was Charles Spearman, 1904. Charles Spearman said that, see, please look, you need to understand the way they were working. Carl Pearson, brilliant, one of the brilliant person, and Fisher is unparalleled. 2 people, hardcore statistics background. Carl Pearson basically works in the bio. You must remember, he was from the biostats. R.A. Fisher worked in the experimental research, agriculture. That's why the name treatment and those will come. But Charles Spearman was from the psychology department. He said that when we are looking for some traits, we are not actually looking this trait, we are looking what is common. Let me give you one example. You will better understand with the examples. If you have heard of CDS exam in India, when people apply for defense forces, it's called CDS, Combined Defense Forces. So people apply after graduation. Before graduation also, they apply for NDA, National Defense Academy test. So most of the people will say, well, there are some sort of, physical activities. So they will say, well, this is a wooden stuff here. 10 people are there, you have to carry, and then you have to put it at that location. It's a very on the hill, you have to put it. They will give you some group activity. So please remember, in those sort of the things, actually, who's the supervisor who's talking on the phone or smoking the cigarette or not paying any attention to the people, and people are doing, debating how to do, etc. Group activity is done, and then they go ahead with that. Now, to get that wooden block from one place to another was never the objective. It was never required. The basic thing they were looking at by this activity, they were looking as the leadership. When 10 people are given something without the resources, how leadership is coming out, how politics is coming out, how communication is there, how the group handling is there, all these things they are looking. And they pretend we are not watching, but they are watching very minutely. The purpose is not something to take the wooden log from one place to another. That's not the purpose. Purpose is to look what are they doing. So they are more interested in all the activity leadership. Now, if you look for where is the leadership, there is no direct measurement of the leadership. I gave you a task. I know there are the challenges. I know it's a flop show. I know everything, you know, you will get all bad names, etc. I gave you this task, whether you accept it or not. This is I'm looking for. So the purpose is not measuring actual thing. Purpose is to find out what is common in all of these things. That Charles Spearman said, we will go with the common method. Now, please understand. Let me give you one other example. I can say Medha Sood sitting with the camera on. Now, Medha Sood belongs to a Sood family. Now, with the Sood family, it means all the members, the moment you say Sood family, all have something in common. We have these values, we have these traits, we have this. Okay. So Medha is also the part of that. She is the Sood family, also part of Sood family. This is called common variance. What Medha got in common with the rest of the family members. And this is with all of you. I can see Gunit or Shoam or Hoshyar. What you have in common by virtue of their surname, what you have common in your family. But there is something which is unique to the Gunit. There is something unique to the Shubham or Hoshyar. That's not there in other family. Yes or no? It's there. Something is there which is not. It means if it's Sood family, all should be just like one alike, 100%. No, we are not. Partly we share the common value, share the same language, same tradition, same custom, but still there is something unique to myself. My first name, look at my first name. I am different. Okay. That is called as what? The particular variance related to you. That's not there in else. But if there is something like unique only to Medha, then in every given circumstance, Medha should be same. Whenever she is in job, whether she is with friends, with family, with somewhere else, she must be same. She is not the same. So there are some random variations also. So mostly we are same, but we are not exactly same ourselves. Isn't it wonderful? So three things are there. One is called the common variance. What is common in all the factors? Okay. What is there specifically to you? That is called the specific variance. And third is called the random variance. Well, that's, you know, circumstances. It was a bad day for me, so I behaved like this. Today I am in happy mood. One is the common variance. What is the common in all? One is specific variance, and one is called the error variance. This, I hope I'm not going very technical, but these fulfill the basics. What Charles Spearman is saying. Charles Spearman is saying, look at the common variance. Why he's saying so? Because he's saying we are working in psychology. I am giving different, questions, measuring the behavior. I am talking for 2 hours for a person just to know what's there inside that person. Okay. So they call it a therapy session, 2 hours, tell me your story. And they will take out the person is really in depression. 2 hour conclusion. It means he is finding something what is common in the actions, in the words, in the behavior, etc. Common thing. But the statistics people, they said we will work on the total variance. We will try to go for the maximizing the total variance. Please remember, this fundamental shift is the basic difference between the PCA and PAF. Charles Spearman, principal axis factoring used in the psychology. What is common in all of them? And then when it comes to PCA, the total is meaning changed. Total meaning changed from PCA. What is a PCA? PCA says make the factors which are totally uncorrelated. So totally, we came away from the original thought of Charles Spearman. Charles Spearman said, look what is common in all. And now the people of this, when it got into the statistics domain, they said, no, we are not looking for common. we are looking that make the 2 or 3 factors so that the 3 factors are totally uncorrelated. Totally uncorrelated. There should not be any correlation. It means now my objective changed. Listen it once again. I gave you 5 things: content, expert, food, safety, and your residence, and the infrastructure. 4 questions each. 20 questions are there. I asked you. I said make the factors. Listen it very carefully. 20 statement. 5 are the my factors or my construct. 4 statement each. I know these are within themselves, they are reflective, and within them they are formative. They are different. I said make the 5 factor so that no 2 factors will have any correlation. Any correlation. It means, Yasha, I ask you, if I take the resource person, if I take the other, and just average the statements, 4 statements each are there, Yasha, average of this, will there be 0 correlation or there will be some correlation? There will be some correlation. Correlation will be there. It negligible, but it will not be 0. It will not be 0, right? So like content and the resource person may be actually quite a good, because resource person will say you should put these contents, or because these contents are there, we will call resource person accordingly. There can be a relationship. Okay. But remember what we are looking for. Make the certain factor so that they have 0 correlation. Yasha, how to make 0 correlation? Simply by taking the average will not help. Absolutely, it won't help. How to make the 0 correlation? For making 0 correlation, we know only one methodology, and that method is called residual. What is a residual? Whatever you are not able to do, that's called as the residual. Okay. Let me give an example. You know, in teaching line, students always give a name to the teacher. Okay. But when you come to this side, you come to know that teachers also gave name to the students. So it's a both way. You call us something and we call you something. So most of the time, like in a class of 40, we never remember every single student. But every teacher, I always say, every teacher use factor analysis. One of the favorite technique of every teacher. How? After 1 week, every teacher know what's going in the class. You know, these 4 boys, they are always coming together. They sit together, maybe this bench, maybe in the last bench, but they will always be together. These 3 girls, they always come together. They sit here. These 2, sometimes they sit here, sometimes they sit here. This is this. So basically, all teacher will know that, you know, basically 5 or 6 groups are there. So we generally say 2 girls, okay, Sita and Geeta, where are these? Where is the other? Or 3 are the Charlie's Angels or something. We gave name to them. So, and generally we ask, where is the 4th one? Today only 3. Where is the 4th one? Let's say the 4th is absent today. Okay. Because I remember these are always the 4. This is a group of the 4. They always sit together, come together. There is a very high correlation. Now, taking the example of this class, if 4 are sitting together, I gave a name to them. Just like Sandeep said, fruits, etc., etc. It doesn't mean that has no correlation with the other. It doesn't mean they are not talking to other. Let me do something. How I will do? I will say 4 girls, you come together, you are always together. Go to the room 0101 and sit there. Moment they go to the 101 room and bolt it, now their correlation with the rest is 0. Okay. From the remaining, I will say 3 boys, you please come and go to the 102 and sit there. It means now their correlation is 0. When I take them out and from the remaining, I will do from the remaining. This term is called residual. So I have explained in one of the video how you actually do it. You know how surprising it seems. How can you do the magic? The similar things are there, related things are there, and you are creating something so that they are totally uncorrelated. Certainly, it's not by sum or the average. Their correlation will not go. Correlation will be there. So how we'll do? There is a methodology. We make the first factor. From the total, we subtract the first. From the remaining, we make the second. We subtract from the total. From the remaining, we make the third. From the remaining, we make the fourth, and so on. You understand the process? The process is, and it is totally different from that of what originally Charles Spearman said. Spearman said we want to find, common in all. Then people said, okay, you please, keep aside. Let's make ourselves a new method. A new method is nothing should be correlated with other. Please remember once again, from the 40 statement, Yasha, I will make first factor. So please stop saying 4 factors make the first statement. It's not the scenario. From the total 40 statement, I will make the first factor. From the total, I will subtract the first. From the remaining, this is again contribution of 40. I will make the second. From the remaining, I will make the third. From the remaining, since every step I am using residual, and residual got a property, it has residual means whatever is not touched. That's why it is not related. Okay. So let me tell you the story at the back end, what is happening. So let me share my screen also. I don't know how many of you are able to connect to this. It's something like I am explaining what happens after death. So there is this way, and everybody saying, okay, that means I have to die first to understand that. So what should I open? Okay. See, Yasha, this is visible, screen visible to you. So basically what I'm doing, you remember y is equal to a plus bx. We solve questions of regression. There is a x series given, there is a y series given. All we are happy in finding the value of a and the b. For example, my answer comes 11.3 plus 2.9 into x. This I am able to solve. Similarly, we can do the multiple regression also. Multiple regression means if I'm given x1, x2, x3, these are those statements which I asked from the people, 20 such things. So basically what I look from EFA, number one, there is no A in the EFA because 100% explained. So what I require, calculate the value of B1, B2, B3, B4, calculate all B20 value. Calculate all B20 value. This is where I will start from. So what happens when you work with the EFA in any of the software? What happens when you start it? So the thing what happens is, the very first thing you ask that please make as many statement I have, make as many factors. How do we make the factor? Just like in regression, it is called regression coefficient, the value of B. In the factor, it will be called factor coefficient. You don't worry, you don't have to do it. Just listen, just listen. You will never do it. But you must know what software is doing. So the moment you say run EFA, basically you are saying I got 20 statements, find out the factor coefficient for all the 20. Now multiply first factor B1, X1, B2, X2, B3, X3 and add up, and that will become the first factor. Okay. So generally we call it as, it's the just like the multiple regression way. Just like the multiple regression, we got the statement, we find out the value of B1, B2, B3, multiply, then add, it becomes first factor. Then subtract from the total, from that make the second factor, third factor, so on, go along with that. Okay. So by default, if you ask for which factor is most important, first is the most important. Whatever first is not able to do, second. Whatever second is not able to do, third, and fourth, fifth. So they will be so smaller. Now here we work with, see if there are 20 people, if there are the 20 people and 20 apples, so ideally in the democracy we assume everybody will get one apple, but actually it's never the case. Actually what happened, the first person is Sandeep. Sandeep entered into the room having 20 apples. Sandeep ate 10 apples, okay, because Sandeep is the first one who's there to stop him. He ate 10 apples, then he went out. Then the second person enters. Second person, Shubham enters. Shubham said, well, okay, let me eat the 2 or 3 apples. Then he went out. Then the third person. So what is happening here? Ideally, everyone should have get the 1 apple, 20 people, 20 apple. But actually what happened? Few of the people ate more of the apple. How will we call it? So we call it by the term eigenvalue. Eigenvalue means how many apples Sandeep has eaten. Okay. So it means those eigenvalue more than 1. What it means? Eigenvalue more than once, these are the factors, these are the people who ate their apple and somebody else's apple also. And mind it, when Sandeep ate somebody's apple, somebody else will not get apple or get very small portion of the apple. Some are more important than others. It's in simple terms, some are more important than others. So we make the eigenvalue. On the basis of eigenvalue, we say, okay, we divide, we take some. The moment you take, we take sum, you automatically said from the 100 I am compromising, I am ready with a few. Okay, how to make comparison? Now these are the two extremes. One extreme says take the variation as the important, so 100% will go. Other will say managerial role is as smaller the factor, that is good. For example, I am looking for my baby's height. Now some people say, let's say Jitendra Yadav has done a research on height of the baby. He says, I know there are the total 500 things that impact the height of the baby. Okay, that's fantastic. It means I can, if I can manage those 500 things, I can just work on the height of the baby. Okay, but then somebody else come and Asif Khan said, see, 500 are too much. I will tell you only 2 or the 3 methods which will give you substantial height. From managerial perspective, 2, 3 are good, easy to implement. But from totality point of view, 500 are good. So how to make a balance in between? So one, we human beings love a lot is 60%. Amazing number, 60%. So whenever we say, if out of the total 60% is covered, then we are happy with it. As many, so there are 2, 3 ways of looking at the factor. First, survival of the fittest. Who are strongest? Who are the strongest? Whose eigenvalue is more than 1? They are certainly strong. Okay, survival of this. But we'll say, well, this is a jungle way. But let's work on the other method also. Very strong, but you must contribute 60%. If you are not contributing, the current example of BJP NDA I give, I think in center BJP is in majority. BJP in majority, but still they say, no BJP, NDA. We call it as the NDA because there are other parties also, lesser party, but together we have more than 60%. Now, whatever opposition will say, we will always say, let's have a, voting, because in voting, we will win always. So they will say that wherever more than 60%, this will. First it says eigenvalue, more than eigenvalue. Now, eigenvalue more than 1 means strong. So does it mean eigenvalue more than 2 is stronger? But obvious. Eigenvalue more than 5 will be even stronger, 100%. 1 is the minimum, because if it is less than 1, it means you are not able to save your own apple. Somebody else has taken the apple. So somebody asked this question in the chat box that what about the eigenvalue more than 1 or 2? You can take 2. Certainly, your decision. Generally, people take, thumb rules are eigenvalue more than 1. Again, if there are several, you can take, I will take only that much. They all are eligible. I will take only those much which constitute 60%. Cumulative, they will say 60%, so that they are in majority. So it is quite okay. Your eigenvalue is more than 1 and you still drop it. Perfectly okay. No harm in that. If you maintain a minimum threshold of 60%. Okay. So that is again the way. Then there is a third method, what Sandeep said, a priori. A priori means I know 4 factors are there. Like the file I shared with you, demo, that contain 4 of the constructs. So 4 constructs they constitute. Now here, I want you to know that if your respondent are actually reading it and giving reply, there will never ever be cross-loading. Just think of how can there be cross-loading. Food is different, stay arrangement is different, contents are different, infrastructure is different. There should not be anything. Okay, so why this happens? Most of the time, our scales are not reflective. The biggest problem is not with the technique. People think of this EFS, CFS, something like, like black box. This is my result, and this is the result I want. This is my data, and you do something, abra something, do something so that I will get this answer. Well, very sorry, but statistics is not for this funny act. It's not there. Now, when you run EFA, what EFA will do? EFA will simply see where the things are highly correlated. It will put it together. It will put it together. It depends on the data. Now, there are certain statements of, let's say, satisfaction. But one particular statement of loyalty is answered just like the way, the same pattern is there. This statement will go there. Now, the other question comes, okay, can we drop a statement? 100%. Because the beauty of the reflective scale is the same thing you are asking again and again. Remember? So I asked you, do you remember in the reflective, I got answer from the first statement only. Other statement I asked only to cross check. When I asked, do you eat a healthy food or I eat healthy food? Sandeep said no. I got the answer. He don't eat the healthy food. I'm just checking others. So if I'll check it by the 6 statements or 16 or 5, doesn't matter. Answer is the same. Sandeep don't take healthy food. Answer is this. So it means you can drop the statement. That's not an issue. But look for the formative. Formative things are there. 5 things I asked. I forget to ask about the food. From the others, you cannot infer about the food. This sauce person was the good, so chole bhature must be good. No, you can't infer like this. So if you miss something in the formative, you missed it permanently. But in the formative, if you miss one, nothing will happen. So are you okay with that? Okay. So are you okay with that? That when you got, first thing is, please look for, do you have a formative construct or not? This is the very first thing. Common sense will apply. Common sense is simply you take something, ask, if I'll answer say strongly agree, on the rest will I say strongly agree, or can I predict? The person will say. If it is not, then you are not having a reflective, you are having a formative construct, most likely. Formative construct, there is no EFA, there is a direct mechanism, there are different things. In this one, you apply. Now comes another one, which Sandeep also said, and which creates a confusion. Is it mandatory to apply EFA for CFA? Is it mandatory? People always believe, no, one must apply or this or this. No. But see, I always say it, if you know little bit of the statistics, you will understand that EFA and the CFA are the two faces of the same coin. Okay. In your language, if I tell you, Gangadhar is Shaktiman or Clark Kent is Superman. Okay. If you don't know, Clark Kent is Superman. They are not the two. They are the same. Gangadhar is Shaktiman. So what it means? It means if you don't know about it, you play with this. First I apply, this apply. I tell you friends, if you get good results of EFA, be happy. Your CFA is bound to be good. If there is a cross-loading in the EFA, then forget about, nothing will come in the CFA. CFA will be problematic. Discriminant validity will suffer. Cross-loading means discriminant validity. Now the question comes here, what should we do then? And it actually depends on what you intend to do. It's not like I will tell you, I will ask you back what you intend to do. You tell me. Your point is to determine the factors influencing something. Okay. To determine the factors. So what will be your answer? Won't your answer will be the following are the factor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much other person is concerned? What the hell is the EFA, CFA, CCA? Your simple point was what are the factors, and you said following are the factors. So my scholar has done, she done for the review of literature. From the review, she says 10 are the factors. Here you can use meta-analysis. Meta-analysis says these are the 10 factors. Fantastic. Why EFA, CFA at all? Why EFA, CFA? Objective is to find out the factors. Meta-analysis says, content analysis says the following are the factors. That's it. That will do the purpose. Look for the second. When you wish to take these factors as independent variable, when you wish to take these factors as independent variable. Now, independent variable, there is something called dependent. Remember, it's sort of regression. Regression, the biggest problem is multicollinearity. If you don't want multicollinearity between the factors, go to the EFA, PCA, principal component analysis, that is actually made for it. That there should not be any correlation. You understand the purpose? Purpose is to apply regression. If you wish to apply regression and totally no multicollinearity you want, EFA will do. CFA will say CFA is linear, little lenient. EFA is very much, military type, very autocratic, very robust. Absolutely no correlation, zero. CFA will say, well, okay, no problem. There can be minor correlation also between the construct. There was somebody was asking a question, what about the correlation between the construct? This is the entire thing. There is no other objective. The entire objective, whatever you do in the statistics, it's all about what is the relation between this. Please remember, whenever you go to a new organization, okay, as a student, as an employee, or as a new relation, husband or wife, to go to your new family, you always try to streamline the relation. So when Sandeep goes his in-law family, He is expected to know every single person by the relation, not the name, by the relation. Mosaji, Mosiji, Paulagu. So it means you must know the name of the relation. Likewise, when you go to organization, you must know who are the people. When you go anywhere, relations are everything to us in human life. And in statistics also, every single thing is a relation. Your objectives are only two: to measure a variable, to find out the relation of two or more. That's why correlation will come into the picture. Look it again. If the purpose is to find out the factors, simply by review of literature, meta-analysis, content analysis is enough. These are the thing. This is the first method. Second method is you can say, well, you know, people have a lot of debate on it. We are not sure. Method is so new. Like I'm working on a project. What happens after death? Okay. So I'm looking for some respondents. So if you can meet anybody, please tell me. So what happens after death? So who will be the respondent, by the way? Okay, so this way, now we'll say that what happens after that, there are so many theories, but no reliable person. So the people who actually died and then came back to life, the people who died and came back to the life, these are the people I will talk. Now, certainly there is no questionnaire, because I should die first to make a questionnaire first. I must know what are the things. So there is no questionnaire available. So in this case, what we will do? Focus group interview. Focus group interview. So there is a very, very wonderful thing asked by Frahat. Frahat asks that why you are all the time stressing only on the Likert scale? Do you know there are semantic differential scale also, there are the cumulative scale also, there are so many things. I say, Frahat, yes, not only the scale, dear, there are the focus group interview also. There are the look for the qualitative. There are so many other methodology. Ethnography, you live in a culture for the 20 years and then tell what are the way, what they are doing and why they are doing. And there are case study approach. There are so many methods. That's okay. We are, you know, sort of a myopia problem. Everybody is looking for Likert, but yes, you must know when to apply semantic differential, when to apply the cumulative scale given by the Osgood, when to apply the other scales. You must know about the data collection. Point here is I'm coming to my research. My research is what happens after the death. Now I will talk to the people who died and then came back to the life. Now there, what I will do here, I will talk to the focus group interview. I am just note down, you know, 20-30 points are there which people said to me. I will take this point. And then whenever any new case will come, the person who died, doctor declared dead and came back to the life after some time. So I will go to the person. I will say, well, I have a checklist of this 20. Can you tell me something about this or can add something in it? It means my theory is not fixed. I'm still in the development phase. I have not structured. The concept is so new. I don't have the complete knowledge. No theory is totally developed. That is the case of EFA. Look for the common sense. What will happen? The things which are related to, by the way, one person conducted this study, what happens after death. From the entire planet, he could take 200 or 250 people, those who died and came back to the life, and he asked what happens. Now, some people said, you know, when I died, then a person came on the buffalo. So he was sitting and he said, okay, let's go with me. Some said there was a sort of an angel on the top. There was a sort of a LED light, and then he was having the wings, etc. He said, come with me, and so on. Most of the people said nothing happened. We just slept, and then somebody wake up. So this person concludes what happens after death is largely influenced by the socio-cultural setup you are born with. So in their cultures, they say there is a, you know, the deity of the death will come sitting on the buffalo, will do this, other will say this will happen. Most people, you know, movies say there is a tunnel, you go into the tunnel, etc. Even Dr. Strange has to go through the tunnel. Okay, so you have to go to the tunnel, etc. So it means what the culture is telling you, it is that, might be. So when I am working on it, what will happen? The few questions related to who will come to pick you up, what you felt like, this is. So what will happen? There will be automatically high correlation between these statements. Can you see that? I have the 20 statements, the theory is not yet developed, the constructs are not developed, but still in the reply patterns, there will be some correlation. Those correlations I will take, I will say, well, these are the representative, these are the main factors. Okay, at this point, let me distinguish between a construct and a factor, because even I said every time they are the same. There is a very minor gap. if you understand what is a factor, look from the EFA perspective. All statement make a factor. You understand that? All statement, just look at next time, look at the factor loading table. In the factor loading, you remember vertically there are the factors F1, F2, F3, they are written, and here are all the statements, and there is a value written in all of them. All the statements contribute to the first factor. Okay, but in one factor, generally one construct is dominant. So that means when you say don't show me the value less than 0.4, whatever left out, they are the statements of a construct. Can you differentiate now between a construct and a factor? It means one factor consists of all the constructs, but there is one dominant construct. Hence we call name of the factor with the name of the construct. Little technical. Let me explain it once again. It's so wonderful. Explaining so complicated in air without any screen or something. Listen it once again. First thing, I'm talking only to those who have seen EFA output. Okay, those who have not seen EFA output, don't worry. Those who have seen the EFA output, there are the few tables. There is an eigenvalue, there is a commonality, there is a variance explained. Then table comes factor loading. I'm talking about PCA, principal component analysis. In PCA, vertically we got the factors. F is even not written. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 column are there. Then there is one first column consists of all sort of the row. In all the row, all the statements are written. Now statements, you know, these are the group first construct, second construct, third construct, you know from your own. Now what I am saying, when you say express value less than 0.4, so it eliminates maximum. Whatever are left out, those left out are the statements belong to one construct. And that's why we say these are the first construct is first factor. Technically first factor contains all the construct, but actually it is a dominant construct which is there, which we call name of this as the dominant construct. Hope you are able to distinguish between the factor and a construct. We almost use them interchangeably, but technically, mathematically, they are not. Coming to the point, now what if I've taken any 40, 60 things and I applied EFA? When you done this, and now what will happen? You don't know what is the relation between these, but software will be able to capture. Software will say wherever highly correlated statements are there. Let me club it to one. Let me put it as the one construct. And then as Sandeep said, you have to give it a name. Just to think of the persons who take these apple, oranges, etc. in one place and call them as the fruit. Okay, how we called the fruit? Why not called it as the satellite? Called it as the fruit. So why fruit? So what is the common in all of them and give a name? So when they are totally different things, but this is EFA. Now what is then CFA? CFA always start with a theory. CFA always start with a theory. Okay. Now here you have to understand the Fleming's left-hand rule. Heard of this? Fleming's left-hand rule: x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. I doubt there is a 359 is already there. So look at this Fleming's left-hand rule. What this says? There are the three ways of research. One is your data or your people. These people were existing from the time eternal. These people were always here. You thought of I will do research, but these people were already existing. There were some people who were more curious than you, prior to you. They thought of how these people are behaving, how variables are behaving, and their understanding they thought of, and they call it as the theory. Some people understood certain concepts and they understand the concept of theory. And now this is that the third is you. So you believes, if you are not understanding this, leave it. Three are the things: your data or your people or your variable. They were here from the time eternal. Since the starting of the mankind, all the variables were here. Happiness, loyalty were there also. People were not having exact meaning of the same, but people knew something about them. Then it come and got a theory. Then there were certain people who actually put certain names. This is the antecedent, this is the consequence, this behaves like this, they presented all sort of theories. These are called as the review, prior researchers or the review of literature. Third is you. Now you says that let me do something. Now there are three ways you can do. This is, I'm talking about the particularly which portion I'm touching in the PhD. I'm touching need for the study. If you are not able to get, please look for I'm touching need for the study. The first question comes, have you ever wondered research, re plus search? I'm searching again. What you are searching? I'm searching for three things. First thing, I'm looking, now there is a new variable which earlier was not there. Now there is something new. Earlier it was not there. So I must study it. Makes sense? Yes. 100%. Like I always say, when we talk about the stress, perhaps we have, find out the stress even of the mosquitoes and the all sort of housefly also. Stress is such a offbeat, everything we have done in the stress. But stress because of social media. This is something new because social media was not there. Stress because of Facebook, stress because of Instagram. People are not liking my post. This stress was never ever there. So I got right to study it. First one. Second one, variables are the same, but the relation is new. Variables are the same, relation is new. Hum aapke hain kaun? Variables same, relation new. So what it says that earlier A lead to B, B lead to C. Now I am checking whether B is a mediator of A to C. Nobody checked it. I am putting it. I am putting the theory. See, there can be a mediation, there can be moderation, there can be interaction effect, there can be this. Relation is new. Variables are the same. Okay. So that is called as the new relation. These are the two which actually are really, really helpful and new knowledge to the humanity. A new relation or a new variable. But most of us actually works on the third. What is the third? New context. What is our context? The study was done in Karachi, not done in Delhi. Let me do it in Delhi. The study is done in Delhi, not in Meerut. Let me do it in Meerut. Well, that's okay. You can go ahead with that. But humanity has not learned anything new from it. Because what you said, yes, Meerut also the study works. Fantastic. So what's the great new news? Nothing. So the point here is, third point comes as the context. So I was just saying, when you go ahead with this, please excuse me, I will take 5-7 minutes more. Please hold with me. I am saying, look at the example of science. Few years back, there was a disease called polio. In some of the country, it's still there. Otherwise, in most of the country, it's been totally eradicated. So when this problem of polio was there, somebody in some country said, well, I have a treatment of the polio. Just like we are looking for the COVID treatment now. So people will say, okay, show us. So this person will say, well, this is the tablet, this is the methodology, this is the entire procedure, do it and you will be cured. So somebody else has done and said, yes, person is cured, third person, fourth person. So everybody has done and we made it as just like science, cause and effect. You got a polio, this is the tablet, take it and you will be cured. Cause, effect, cause and effect, just like the science. But the problem with the social science is it's never ever the same. This is the biggest problem of the social science. Social science means the way the people are happy, the things which make a person happy in Germany, in India or in Indian subcontinent, it's not the same. It's not the same. The way the people put their protest in Japan, in Bangladesh or in India or Sri Lanka, people may not have the similar methods. They have the different methods. We are a product of our economic, social, cultural context. Okay, so I share it with a number of the friends that if somebody comes visit India or Pakistan for that matters, and some just a hypothetical scenario, PK has come, PK is visiting our country, and he see that 200 people are dancing on the road. So you see, what's going on? Why these people are dancing? They said, well, this is a Bharat. Okay, then where the traffic will go from? How we are concerned, traffic will go from anywhere, and they are on the street, on the roads, they are dancing, 200 people, and nobody is saying anything. People are saying, okay, yes, enjoy. If a person from Japan or this will come, they may be really shocked. What the hell? Why the people are dancing on the road? Why they not dancing in their house or in their community hall or something? Why they are dancing on the road? And where the people will go? Well, we are not concerned. It means, how can you say the concepts of social science, the way we are happy, the way we are, we put out our emotions, these are never same. They are cultural specific. The meaning of the culture specific is somebody measured an instrument. He said, this is the way to make the stress. It may not work in India. It may not work in your country. The reason being, we feel differently. And it's not, no PhD is required for that. Please see, do you know McDonald's when came to India, McDonald's, the one of their most popular item is hamburger. So hamburger, it's basically the meat of pork, shoulder meat of pork, that is hamburger. So when they come to India, they were told that, see, pig is a animal which is not appreciated by all community people or major religions or communities. So it's not a good idea to sell that point here. So do you know, this is among the few exceptions. McDonald's in the name of a hamburger is selling the aloo tikki burger. You know about that? So because they know what works in one culture may not work in the other culture, people will be quite, apprehensive, and people may not appreciate that. It means when we come to social science, the concept may not work. It means, now coming to story short, whenever you are working on a scale which according to you is a standardized scale or is a very important scale, please note that is standardized for that particular culture and people. That's not standardized for the globe. Please remember that. The scales, the things in the social science are not like physics. That physics people will say, I made it and you use it everywhere. Whether you go to Everest or go to the Antarctica, this formula will work. We are not like this. We are live human beings. Okay. And in a country like India, there is no simple one remedy for all. With every 50 kilometers, the things will change. The concepts will change. Okay. The point here is what I'm saying. If you are using any standardized scale, that is not standardized as per your context. That is standardized as per their context. You need to check its reliability and the validity. I think so many people ask this question, but it is standardized. Yeah, standardized, but it is standardized for Israel, Canada, Germany, not standardized for you. Your people may not understand what we are asking. You must check. What we should check? Two things, reliability and validity. Reliability means ask myself whether this statement I should ask or not. And validity, reliability. Reliability means the person is able to understand and is consistent when asked the same thing again and again or not. So reliability and validity need to be compulsorily checked when you are working in the social science, when you got the scale. This process is called CFA. This process is called CFA. So let's stop here. I have taken 8 minutes extra.